This video is under fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act in 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or purpose use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All rights and credit go directly to its rightful owners. No copyright infringement intended. Enjoy. Oh yeah, on your way out, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, man. This is the Argument League. Turn up.
Anybody out there? This the boy Swab, Boss Man, Snapping Off Entertainment. And why does my back, is it my light? No. Is it my camera? No. Oh, it might just be the where that motherfucker at. Man, shout out to I wasn't muted. I did that on purpose. Shout out to MJ in the building. Yeah, we in the building for another one, man. Shout out to the family. This is the boy Swab, Boss Snapping Off Entertainment, SVD, Arguably, AO. I hope it's your Black Power shit. This is the pre-debate show for T Duck and Lance. This is the one right here to see who faces Suave in the next round. Shout out to Sabo. So, we going in. Dr. Enqi also supposed to be coming through, known as Minister Enqi, Brother Enqi, Enqi. You know what I'm saying? C-Mouse Enqi. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so we here. Oh, man. Couple of things that was on my mind, though. There's a race out there with this little girl, 7-year-old girl, black girl, right? And her, another black girl, like 4 white girls, set the race. Gun goes off. Everybody takes off. This young black girl, I believe her name was, because her mama called her, what was it? Because if you ain't never had nobody rooting you, man, rooting for you, it's the people you want rooting for you, man. But yeah, girl lost her shoe. Boom, had to stop. When everybody goes off, runs back, grabs her shoe, put the shoe on, takes off. Boom. Now, oh, now, if you ain't never, ever had, is this it? Shout out to Littlest Revenge. Lay. This shit right here, man, really put a tear in the nigga, teared up. You know what I'm saying? In the wells of my eye. Bet I saw that. But I mean, we all got girls. I don't know. Do we all got girls? No, not everybody got girls. Some people have 4 boys. You know, curses of the father or some shit. But yeah, man, to see this little big head, big foot black girl not get discouraged when her shoe came off, not quit when her shoe came off. I think she like yelled to the officials like, "Stop my foot," and then realized that's not gonna happen. And then was like, "Lay, you ain't never had nobody root for you, man. Get a bunch of black women to root for you. It's just different. It's just different, man. Hit that like button, yeah." And for the first time, I'm gonna speak on Kevin Samuels, and it was something else. Oh, the YSL YFN beef. This shit is stupid, it's dumb, and it's hard to have empathy for the people involved. Okay, let me see if I can get this transferred over to my computer right there. So I just want to show this. This was hard, man. This was hard. Oh, and I want to show this too. Cause this my shit. This my thing for the rest of the season. Scratched $1 million off my checklist 3 years ago. Shout out to Tangerine in the building. I'm in a different mode. Okay, bet. Let me see if it'll let me load it like this. I don't think it will. This my motherfucking mode. Fuck these cornball ass niggas died. Man, shout out to Holly and Pro Black, man, for getting it in last night, man. And Holly put it off with the victory over Pro Black in the 2-1 judges decision. You feel me? Hold on, here go my move for the rest of the. Shout out to the commissioner Solar Mind in the building. This my move for the rest of the season. Hey, hold on. Scratched $1 million off my checklist 3 years ago. I'm in a different mode. Is that it? Oh yeah, this it. Alright, hold on. It's not sharing how I usually share because it's not formatted how the videos that I play usually be formatted. But we gonna do it like this. What are you looking at? Huh? You all a bunch of assholes. You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. Why? You know why? You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. Look at you. You need people like me. This my shit right here. Anybody know me? Scarface is in my top 3 movies. Scarface, Godfather, Harlem Nights. My shit. I'm just one of them older dudes, man. I just, even when I was young, if you would have put me in the 70s, I was still good. You need people like me. Finger and say they're the bad guy. Make yourself feel better for the bullshit you did. So, what'd that make you? Good? What'd that make you? Good? Because you can point your finger at me and everybody can say, you know what? That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. Because you all don't got the balls to be what you want to be. So you make it seem like I'm doing something evil. What does that make you? Good? Hmm? You're not good. You just know how to hide. You just know how to hide and lie. Me? Gotta always tell the truth. Me? I always tell the truth. Even when I lie. Even when I lie. That's me. That's me. That's me this year. That's me this year. That's me this year. Huh? Everybody needed a bad guy. Damn. Everybody needed a bad guy. Well, who's the closest to they shit? Who made it the farthest? Who went the highest? Who worked the hardest? Who getting the most spot? Who got the most presence? That's the bad guy. Look at Ernie. Ernie, you want a job, Ernie? Yeah, Tony. Say good night to the bad guy. Come on. Come on. Last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again. Let me tell you. Yeah, man. So gotta hate it. But this was the video I was talking about, man. This really right here touched me as a fucking. Let me throw on the screen. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, I don't know who shit this is. So, Boxing King. Shout out to them for uploading. And here we have a child's meet, right? Kids meet, like 7 years old. And as you can see, we got a few people lined up. Girl right there, girl right there. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple. Girl right there, girl right there, girl right there, girl right there. Lined up to go. And here's Lele. Boom. Shoe came off. Boom. Shoe came off. Look. Bow. 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 Her damn shoe came off. And she almost tripped. And she had to stop. Let me play it. Okay, because y'all know how I am. My motherfucking mix around and shit. Let's go, Lele.
She ran her shoes. Go to Lele. Go Lele. Go Lele. Let's go Lele. Let's go Lele.
Now, you can hear when the first half of her shoe come out, she lost her shoe. You can hear the disappointment. But then when she put her shoe on, it was like, go Lele, go Lele, go Lele. Because, you know, you still got to root her on. She's going to lose, you know. I would say that poor lady, I know her foot hurt. Yeah, she's 7. She's 7 years old. And, you know, you got to root her on. She lost her shoe. She's going to lose. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, go Lele. But then you could tell, like, hold on. I think she catching up. That shit turned, go Lele!
She ran her shoes. Go to Lele. Go Lele.
You can even hear somebody say, smack their lips like.
She ran her shoes. Go to Lele. Go Lele. Go Lele. Let's 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 go to Lele. Come on, mama. Let's go to Lele. Let's go to Lele. Let's go to Lele. Let's go to Lele. She ran out her shoe and had it. Let's go. She lost her shoe and had it.
And I listened to a dude, I think his name's Schuler King or something like that. And he made an awesome point out of it. When that shoe popped off, a lot of people would have quit. Majority of people would have quit. Felt like, you know, they needed a restart. Hey, something unfair happened to me. Help me out. And then you realize, you know, sometimes something awful had to happen for your victory to be remarkable. She could have started that race and won that race, and it probably would have been one of many races she won before. But the fact that that shoe came off, the fact that that obstacle was there, the fact that that unfortunate event happened, and she still chose to fight, to run, to go, made that the all-time number one highlight rim of track and field stories for 7-year-olds. That made that story even. So when shit happened to you, man, when people turn their back on you, when people lie on you, when people propagate the lie on you, when motherfuckers stab you in the back, when motherfuckers call you bitch ass niggas, when motherfuckers call you all type of shit, make sure you know, don't give up, keep fighting, because that's gonna make the motherfucking victory miraculous, special, you know, something to remember. Yeah, she was hella fast, big ass head. Big ass head baby, man, but definitely didn't. Yeah, that's a perfect example of life. Yeah, that's a fact. Shout out to my brother Gold, man. And brother Enqi supposed to come through around 8 o'clock. Let me tell my Damn, why do you even fucking scratched a million off my checklist 3 years ago. I'm in a different mode. I swear I just cleaned up. I don't know who living by light. I just cleaned up, but I got my hard candy wrappers, black and mild wrappers, fucking rib top paper, paper towel. Y'all know I stay wiping my hands and shit. But the Kevin Samuel things. Let me get this out the way. People are too impressed with shit, okay? And people pay attention to the shit that they want to pay attention to. That's the freedom people have. I don't care about Kevin Samuels, the Kevin Samuels front, the Kevin Samuels event. I don't care. It's just not my thing. It's really just not interesting. The thing is, Kevin Samuels passed. And motherfuckers act like black people lost somebody. People really acted like black people lost somebody. People have opinions. People have personal experiences in life. There's no reason why I would devote all my resources into someone's personal opinion and personal experience in life in this degree, in this fashion. But black men, I have to say, y'all simped for this nigga. And I'm not just talking about any average black man. Fuck you. You're not happy in life anyway. I'm talking to people like Corey Holcomb, um, the comedian Marcus, because I watch their shows. These are the people that I watch. And their opinion, even though Marcus would say something like, I didn't watch his show, you shouldn't have an opinion. But my opinion is, and men do it too, but it was a bunch of women happy that he died. It was niggas really go out of their way to express this feeling they have toward women when it shouldn't even be affecting you. You still have your masculinity. You still have your man ruled world. You get to go out there, be a pimp, a player, and get patted on the back for the women that you play and the women you take advantage of and the women you manipulate. Why? Because I was manipulated as a teenager. Shout out to Lima Frank one. Shout out to everybody. Men have a problem with women. Duh. Women have a problem with men. The thing is, men have a system to get that message put out through so that they can collectively get in group behind their problems with women. To the point where women start having to use the resources they got instead of begging the motherfucker, well, hey, if this all I got, this what I'm gonna do. Which intuitive black people do. That's what we do. We don't beg for the white man privileges. We take advantage of what we got and we work within that paradigm. And guess who comes and stops us? The sellouts. Oh, y'all finna. Now, y'all know y'all ain't supposed to do it like that. I'm really tired of men acting like they can't see the problem with men views toward life. Okay? It's oppressive to women, right? It's very oppressive to women. If you look at women as just something to fuck on, you're a retard. If you look at all women as someone who's an option to you to fuck on, you're a retard. You only have one woman. People construct relationships where they have multiple women. I can see that. That's not legal in America. Okay? It's not legal in America. People could fucking get in trouble and lose shit over that. trying to make sure that this dude has more than one woman, and I would have to question how well is he at handling that one woman. Women are difficult to uh, women are difficult to take care of. No, I got one. Thank you, baby. They're difficult to accommodate. They're difficult to keep happy, keep satisfied. If you can't do that for one, why would you be moving on to two? Why? If all you doing when you with your woman is complaining how she want this, how she don't like that, how she don't know what she want to eat, how she don't know where she want to go, she don't never know what she want to wear, she don't never know if her friends is her friends. Then these are elementary things that you're fucking complaining about, and then you think you want to get into a marriage with more than one woman? No, no. You have to recognize for what it is. Life is not easy. And you don't find cheat codes to make it easy for you. You put in the work and you make it easier overall. Riding a bike was hard until you learn how to ride a fucking bike. And then some people ended up on motorcycles scaling over the Grand Canyon. They did what they had to do. They put in the work and they made that task easier. Same thing with women. If you focus on your woman and you know your woman, it gets easier. She want this to eat because it's the middle of the week and she ain't had it in a minute. She wants some Subway with no meat. She want a fucking veggie sub. Oh yeah, she want to go out. You know, then it just gets easier. But when you come in and all you got is complaints, like a child, well, women this, women that, and I don't like this and I don't like that. You have to look at yourself. You have to look at your fucking self. I've never been with a man. Men are complicated. Men are hard. Men are hard to be with. And I look at the relationships that I've witnessed in my life. And the bar is set for women and the bar is set for men, you know. And then I look at the evolution of it where the bar was changed and you know, like my mother was a cop. You gotta understand, she was walking to be with me. I never came from a home where the woman was scared in the corner waiting on the husband to get home. Oh, your food is ready. The kids are bathed in bed and out of your way. No, no, no. And even when my grandmother on my father's side, she cleaned the house. I never saw my grandfather clean. She cooked. Never saw my grandfather cook. Sunday dinner, she cooked. She had a guard on the side. She hemmed our fucking clothes, put patches in our shit. My grandfather worked his body until, you know, he had limited use of it his whole life. Paid the bills, bought the home, you know, bought the car. Um, I'm pretty sure protected it with the rifle that was up under his bed. And I've never seen him treat my grandmother in a manner that was like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. Like my grandmama, you know, still like said what the fuck she wanted to do and got it done. And I mean, she didn't want to do much. She wanted to go to church. She wanted to go to the garden. You know, hem the clothes, cook, keep the house clean, this, that, and the other. And you know, my grandfather wanted to watch the baseball game. That's it. So those were the times. Those were the relationships. Shout out to Lima in the building. Shout out to Nobody in the building, and shout out to Nick will be in the building. With this Kevin Samuel things, uh, I'm happy people have things to distract themselves from life with. Life is very horrible. It's harsh. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you're at. Life is really fucked up at sometimes. It's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. People go broke. People go homeless. People go without food. People go without clothes. People never experience a car. People get ill. People die from those illnesses. People have to live with those illnesses. People are partnered with those people who have those illnesses. People have mental instability. Some people are not accepted. They're by themselves. Life is not a ball of fucking sugar. And people don't make it no easier. People are always judging. People are always weighing, measuring, expressing themselves in manners in which they shouldn't have the right to express themselves. They really shouldn't. Fuck with who you fuck with, how you fuck with, and shut the fuck up. If you don't fuck with people, why are they in our conversation? The one dude, Marcus, he said, you can say what you want about Kevin Samuels, but he was just telling you how he felt. And men agreed. But they never get to the why men agreed. Why did men agree that the world was better off without women? Shout out to the sister YouTube Screets, aka Holly, aka the Dark Horse. Congratulations once again on your victory. Moving on to the next round. Where is the explanation of why people agree with them? Because that never gets got to. That never gets got to. And so it's because it's easier. It's easier to have women up under you, not challenging you, not having their own opinion, not having their own thought, you not having to listen to them. It's easier to do what you want to do and not really have to deal with other people's feelings, other people's thoughts. It's easier. It wastes resources, but men don't care. It wastes time, but men don't care. It destroys families, but men don't care. You come up in an environment where women are second class citizens. You come up in an environment where women don't have rights. And because that was recently changed, it's upsetting to some people that they have to listen to their woman in the way that their grandfather didn't have to listen to their grandmother. Shout out to Tequila in the building. Shout out to Incognito. The world is this much of the universe. What we experience, I can't get my fingers close enough without them touching, is what we are. We're a very small splinter of an increment of a flash in time. I'm talking about it all. Racism, talking about it all. A very small slither, splinter of a flash of existence. That is what it is. That is what it is. Shout out to my brother Knowledge Born Allah. I'm finna send that now. I don't care about certain concerns. People don't care about mine. I want black people to stop participating in American culture as much as possible. Buy some land, concentrate our numbers, get face to face, and then talk about what is our relationship to America, white people, everybody else, ourselves, and then design that, and then create that, and have black people who stand America and our hunky dory and love America and our patriots and our presidents, all the way to the fact that we have black people who have their own separate nation and are designing their own constitution and living amongst their own force. We can't even get people to agree to that. Black people don't want black people to have their own nation. Why? Oh, I could find a reason. Black people don't want black people to remain in America. Why? I could Google a reason. Why is black people in black people way like we have to be uniform, like we have to be one thing, like we have to have one mind, one thought, one word, one goal? That'll never fucking happen. And you got tricked into thinking that. And now we got everything from left-handed to right-handed, short and tall, fat and skinny, smart and educated, dumb and non-educated, Republican, Democrat, Lakers, Knicks, folks, vice lords, YSL, YFN. As many ways as you can break people down, people are broke down and it's ignorant. Shout out to Heaven Sent. People are broke down, and black people can't afford to be broke down. I'm listening to y'all. Everybody's broke. And I don't care. You may not be broke to me, but when you go back out there to the class that you survive in, you're not satisfied. You still know you got to clock in next week. Hell, you know you got to clock in for the rest of this year. Nobody's. I'm good. I'm good. You're only comfortable when comparing yourself to people who have less than you. But there's always someone who has more than you, which should let you know money ain't the fucking problem. Everybody from the bum living on the street to the motherfucking Elon Musk has a grievance, a problem, something they're not satisfied about. Millionaires kill themselves. Millionaires kill themselves. Millionaires chase young women, chase little girls, chase little boys, choke themselves while jacking off. They're just not satisfied. People are social beings. We will only be satisfied upon that. I've seen more people satisfied in the projects. You hear me? I've seen more people satisfied in the projects because they had their people. People are the greatest resource on earth. People are all we need. People. People, people, people. And I really wish we could just see that. I really wish we could just see it. Because that's the mission, bro. Divide and conquer, bro. Yeah, but why are we fulfilling the mission? Why are we fulfilling the mission? That is true. That go all the way back to the Willie Lynch letter. It goes back before that. It's an ancient thing. Divide people and conquer them, and not just divide other people to conquer them, but divide yourself to conquer them also. Me, Gold Man, Pro Black, Brandon, Baker, Holly, we split up and act like we not AOI, and some of y'all cool with Holly, some of y'all cool with Pro Black, some of y'all cool with Gold Man, some of y'all cool with me, and then we use that relationship to manipulate y'all. Man, I heard Holly got some shit over there, man. We should be stalking her, see what's up with, them riches she got over there. Yeah. Well, let's go in and see if we can get, some type of weapon or some. How much you got? Well, I got this much. And then the underplay. Well, me and Holly end up with your shit. Because I done talked you into attacking her, but I'm planning with her how to defend us from you. So when we walk in, he'll die, and then I'll run away and act like I got my ass kicked. And we split the fucking wealth. Very idiotic. It's very idiotic. Why is the stream not the stream yarding? Okay, there you go. Yeah, so stop being so impressed by people, please. Stop being so impressed by yourself, please. And stop giving so much attention to people that you don't get out of what you need out of. That's just it. No negative energy, no smoke. Love you too, Nico. If we spent more time talking about what we need to do as a people, I think we would offer the next generation a little bit more than what we're storing up to give them now. But the next generation is taking it on their own. The next generation is figuring it out without us. So men, it won't just be your women; it'll also be your children. And women, you'll leave your men, but your children will leave you. Unless we recognize the resource that we are, find those like minds, disregard the ones who aren't. Let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. The thing is, negative shit get more attention. So while I'm over here saying, yo, love y'all, love you, Lima, love you, MJ, love you, Tequila, love you, Tanjan. People over there saying, look at these motherfuckers. Look at these motherfuckers. And they getting more support, more encouragement, more pats on the back than us. As all money ain't good money, all love ain't good love. Let a motherfucker who love you for hating people stay where they hating ass at. I like people who like me for the way that I move. I don't gotta be the toughest nigga in the world. I survived the 90s. I already proved that. And that's the thing a lot of people gotta understand. A lot of the stuff that people are trying to do today, we already did. I don't have to be the block boy. I don't have to be the gangster. I don't have to be none of this tough shit that y'all niggas are trying to prove. Cause guess what? The hood doesn't exist anymore. Y'all making shit up. You're freestyling. You're freestyling. Hey, it's the big dog in the building, man. What's up, man? Minister Enqi is in the building. Was you
Yeah.
ready? You need
Hey,
to be ready for a little while?
Wait, I feel like I just came in the middle of something. What happened?
Man, it's always the middle of something around here, man. That's it. You need a little more time. Need me to put you in the back like I caught you
No,
unexpected.
I'm ready.
Right?
No, I'm ready.
Okay, man. So that's just it. So all the way from the Kevin Samuel things to the little girls. Shout out to Go Lily. Don't give up when your shoe comes off. It doesn't make it a defeat. It makes it a miraculous win. Shout out to YSL YFN, where it all trickles down to, where we're that divided, where we have young black men. These niggas didn't have to wait till they was 40, becoming 100,000aires, millionaires. The cars, the houses, the jewelry, the designer clothes, and still end up in jail on a RICO charge. Stupidity and ignorance.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Whoa. Wait a minute. I obviously did stumble onto something. So, I'm still relatively new to the Clubhouse universe.
Okay. Me too.
But I've been on Clubhouse. I'm on Clubhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now I have 2 pages on Clubhouse. So apparently people trying to find me, they find the wrong page. But I'm on Clubhouse, and yesterday I go in Clubhouse, and guess who I bump into? Well, not bump into, but I stumbled onto a conversation. Shout out to I think it is Early Birds and Night Owls. That's the group, I believe it is. It's called Eban Films. You know what I'm saying? Now, I haven't been in Clubhouse long enough to participate in the gang banging that goes on in Clubhouse, because Clubhouse is gang culture. I'm like, what the? Like, if you go in one room and you speak inside that room, other rooms will block you from coming in their room, because they be like, yo, we just saw you in that room. You can't come in our room because you was with them. And I'm like, whoa. I don't know any of you niggas. Like, so, but so anyway, I go to, this just happens to be one of the groups that I check. You know what I'm saying? I go into Wax group, go into Hocus's group. Shout out to the Rabbit Hole. That's like, that's probably, the place that people could catch me at most is the Rabbit Hole. So shout out to Hocus 45. Uncle Dell from the P, Uncle Dell from Philly. He runs some groups, but anyway, relevance. I know people like Enqi, get to the point. In Clubhouse, they'd be like, land your plane, nigga. But so my point is, I go into Eban Films, and guess who's in there? They having a town hall meeting with Young Thug Father. So I have a conversation with Young Thug Father yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So, people, you know, from the ridiculous YouTube community. It was like, yo, you should have went in on Young Thug Pops. We was waiting for you to. I'm like, see, that's the problem with y'all niggas, man. This is still an older guy, a grown man. Like, that's not, you know, we just so used to acting a fool. Like, we just think that that's the appropriate behavior. And we think that's the only way to articulate a point. You know what I'm saying? Because although I didn't, like, you know, wrestle him to the ground in a way that most people would have liked me to do, we did have a conversation, and I definitely kept their feet to the fire. You know, when I tuned in, most of the people were on there, like, it seemed like supporters. So the conversation was kind of geared towards, like, you know, the big bad white man, you know, bringing down the black man. And, you know, anytime a black man's getting, you know, successful, the white man is going to come and get him and blah, blah, blah. And I just, you know, I kind of like, I was in like a Popeye. Like, I was like, I had all I can stand and I can't stand no more. You know, I had to jump in there, and I'm like, you know, nah, you know, is there any, you know, where's the accountability? Like, is there any point where you feel like, you know, like, this is just what the hand calls for? Like, you know, we've been listening to the music, you know, because one of the comments that his dad made, and shout out to Big Jeff, I don't know if, you know, like, I look at firemen, and when I see firemen run into burning buildings, I'm like, damn, those are better men than me. I don't think I could run and burn in buildings for a living to save other people's lives. I don't think in the same position that I could have been as forthcoming and transparent as Young Thug's father was, even though I totally disagree with a lot of the shit he was saying. Just him making himself that available in a public forum like that, social media, to answer all questions. Like, and by the time I got off, I probably was on there for about a good 20 minutes with him, maybe a 30 minutes. By the time I got off, I had opened up all the doors that needed to be opened. So I had him explaining the dress situation, and, you know, like, everything opened up from the conversation because it was about accountability. And, you know, I think that people are largely confused. Like, you know, one of the things that came up that I really wanted to highlight was that, like, you know, we hear this conversation where it's like, oh yeah, well, you have rock and roll artists and heavy metal artists that say, you know, they have violence in their music, but their music is not used to create indictments. You have action heroes in movies that kill a lot of people in their movies, like Rambo or Arnold Schwarzenegger. That doesn't lead to indictments. And everybody was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, that's wrong. That's not, yeah, that's right. That's wrong. Because what the actors and the other musicians do is they make sure at all times, in every interview and everywhere you see them publicly outside of their role, that they're letting you know that that is fake and that is not how they actually live. Like, you might catch Arnold Schwarzenegger outside of the film, the movie set, and he has on a suit, he's got a coffee, he's somewhere, like, yeah, you know, this is who I really am, as opposed to the actor. If you see some of the heavy metal guys, like, and I guess some of my unique life experience, because I had brothers that lived upstate, like in a suburban area in New York, Wappingers Falls. And so when I would visit them, you know, he wasn't into rap. You know what I'm saying? And he's only like 2 years older than me. He was into Headbangers Ball. You know what I'm saying? So when I go visit him, I got to listen to, you know, Kiss, Metallica, you know, Guns N' Roses. But the thing, even with those groups, when they were not on stage, they let you know that that is a stage show. That is a act. We're not actually biting off chicken heads like when we're at the crib. Like, we just regular people with our families raising us. So there's a big difference between that. You can't make that analogy or comparison, because with the rap music, we're going out of our way to say, no, this is real. Like, we keep making sure that every time people try to open the door to let us off the hook, we convict
I
ourselves.
rap about my real life.
Right. Every time they try to create a space to let us off the hook, we make sure we incriminate ourselves. Like, no.
Mm.
We're not faking. We're real gangsters. We're actually shooting people and getting shot.
We're not getting tattoos on our face for the show.
That's right.
You know, these guns aren't rented.
Right. These guns aren't
They're not props, baby.
So I'm like, hold on. You can't spend 10 years saying that. Wait, bring that back up. We can't spend 10 years saying that these things are real and then be mad when people believe us.
Mm-hmm.
You know
I mean, especially after people who have been killed, shot at, robbed, stabbed. Like the this code of incriminating ourselves and legitimizing the over policing of our people is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And people don't realize now. See, you just did that all in one sentence. I'm gonna have to break that sentence up a little bit because I realized that people don't realize what you just did. That was a lot for me and you. We right there. That's nothing. That's a behind the back pass. That's easy 2-point conversion. Alley-oop. But for some people, that might have went over their head. They don't realize that when you create the music, and then here's the jump. When you say that music is based on Black culture, what you just did is now you saying that Black culture is synonymous with being a criminal. It's criminality, right? The people that are participating in Black culture are either criminals or people who protect criminals. And so if you're not a criminal or someone who protects criminals, then you're a civilian. You know, you're a civilian. And you know, these niggas ain't built like that. You know, so if you ain't built like that, you need to be over there. And what the fuck does built like that mean? You niggas sound goofballs. You're ostracizing the actual people that would patronize because you don't realize that the criminals don't buy music. They don't buy merch. So the actual civilian, the guy with the 9-to-5 that doesn't want the stray bullet coming through his window, that's actually the same nigga that's going to Walmart to get the $13.99 or going to Tidal to subscribe.
Clicking on the apps, buys every album he likes, the songs he likes. Yeah.
So it's a real strong form of insanity to disenfranchise people that are actually the pillars of the community and say they're not a part of the community because you're participating in some sort of criminal operation that is public, however, if you get picked up for it, you're going to say it's some sort of conspiracy. Like, no, nigga, where you niggas think you at? Nobody did that before. I even heard in the conversation before I jumped in there a comparison to the mafia. They're like, oh, well, you know, you don't see any Italian people being indicted off of music and songs. I said, because they're not making any songs that are saying, hey, we did this shooting at this time, at this location, at this place. Like, how I just, to me, it's like the craziest thing. Like, how did we expect to keep doing all these crimes and then detailing them
And not having any political influence as the Italians do, as other people do. The reason why their shiploads of cocaine get overlooked is because they have mayors and senators and governors and money in certain people's pockets that keep this situation going.
And wait, there's a little space in between there that people are. Here's another thing that is causing a hindrance to even that process, right? And I've been getting a lot of flack over the years for my differences in opinions. And a lot of times it's not really a difference of opinion. It's just that I started life early. I had my own apartment when I was 13 years old. That's when I had my first child. So I got in. So I'm usually 10 to 15 years past the learning curve on everybody. So my mind is already like, I'm already at like I'm in my mid 40s, but my wisdom is like I'm already like 100 years old already. So there's certain little things that I might pick up or recognize that John Q. Public might not. and we will mistake these things for racism, and we don't realize that some of these things we call racism is not racism. So like, I didn't know, like back in the days when Timberland and who was it was a couple of companies, they was like, yo, we don't want them hip hoppers wearing our clothes and all that. We don't want them representing our brands.
Tommy Hilfiger, yeah.
What did they do with those statements? They twisted those statements and dropped it in the community and said they don't want you black. They're racist against black people. They don't want black people to wear their clothes or brands or blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you, I was one of the main people out there like, yeah, we ain't wearing that shit. We gonna didn't realize that we were being emotionally controlled to be steered into other products. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't realize we were being steered away from McDonald's just to buy Burger King. But the premise was faulty. It didn't. What these companies were saying is not that they don't want people with pigment in their skin to be buying their brands and representing. No, that would be suicide for urban brands. Like, how would an urban brand say? So it didn't make sense to a lot of people, but that's because they didn't make the connection between this idea of criminal culture and what is passing off for black culture. So what these companies were actually communicating is that they don't want people that either actually shoot and kill people or pretend to shoot and kill people to be brand ambassadors for their brand. They didn't want their brand to be associated with murderers and killers. Now, we have come to the space where somehow the murderer and the killer is the thing to be. Respect the shooter. We respect the shooter. We respect the person getting shot. In fact, we respect the person getting shot even more than the school teacher. We respect the person shooting and the person getting shot more than the daycare teacher, more than the hardworking parents, the single moms, the single dads, the 9-to-5ers. Like, so because we have created that scale, now people are able to slip in that back door and market criminality to us further, taking us down that road. So we're in a space where we have cognitive dissonance. If a 3-year-old girl gets shot, social media is lit, the news is lit, we've got to put the guns down. The moment they crack down and say, you know what, we getting ready to lock up all these niggas that are making songs about shooting up the community, we getting ready to lock all these niggas up. We just start grabbing. Oh man, wait a minute, they messing up the community and dot. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Do y'all want these little? Do y'all want the stray bullets to stop? Do y'all want the pregnant ladies to feel comfortable at the cookout? Do y'all want y'all kids to be able to go outside and play, or not? Because you don't have both. They just ran the experiment in Baltimore. You seen what happened there, where they told everybody, listen, we're going to just pass these kids whether they go to school or not, and we are not going to lock up your kids even if they get caught with whatever. What happened to crime? It didn't get better. Crime went through the roof. Murder rate went through the roof. They're like, oh, we're not going to jail. Okay, let's go crazy. We don't have to go to school. Attendance went through the floor. Participation went through the floor. Like, and these types of experiments are only done in communities, you know, where quote unquote blacks and Latinos are at. So even if we want to have this, stretch our mind to these ideas of defunding police and all this other goofy, some of these things have been tried and demonstrated to be just worse for the. So we've got to take accountability and start to be like, listen, this is what we want. This is what we don't want. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. And so anyway, long story short, though, it was a really good conversation in terms of just getting a different perspective on the whole, you know, the Young Thug. And because I don't know if, you know, I know it's going to continue to go on. It'll probably get bigger before it gets quieter. But I don't know if that type of conversation will be had again, where, you know, like somebody would just make themselves mad available like that to the public. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you're not going to really have that scenario where somebody at that level gets locked up and then just they just open, you know, they pops just open themselves up to all questions. And, you know, so even the situation with the dress, though, the conversation on that was kind of real, like, you know, It was enlightening from a variety of directions, just depending on how your mind is set. You know what I'm saying? And so that even brings up another thing that I was saying for a long time, that, you know, I was called the hater. Yo, Enqi, you just hating on niggas. I've been saying for the longest, getting money does not determine success. An amount of money that you get does not determine success. That's fool's gold right there. We've been tricked with that. That has never been success. Getting a lot of money. Never has that been success, except for now. The last 10, 20 years or so, that's been pumped into people's minds, where money determines success, and it doesn't. It's the impact that you have on people, the impact that you have on the community. And now that we have a global community, the world at large. You know what I'm saying? So getting money only determines your potential to have success, because it should make it easier for you to have a larger, greater impact on your community at large. But that's what it was always about. It wasn't about how much money you personally made, because who gives a fuck about how much money you got? What does that do for your neighbor? If you got a fucking $1 zillion next door, but my fridge is empty or my lights is off, like what difference does your $1 zillion? Like, what does that do? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was always about what you could do with money, and what you have done with your money that meant something. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we got into this space now where it's about like having money. And again, my unique experiences just give me a different window into these things. A lot of the people that's creating this street culture, you know, for monetization, they are not a part of, by lineage or by activity, the original guys from the 60s and the 70s that really are, you know, looked at as the lords of the street, for better or for worse. You know, my dad was one of the largest heroin dealers in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? So I got to see that universe up close and personal. And so I know that the way those guys thought and moved around in that space is not the way not what we see in today. And so, you know, I voluntarily, based on, you know, all of my experiences, I wanted to do something different, and put a different type of meaning on who, not just me, but my family. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why I named my gel Blue Magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, other people can try to use that term or try to position themselves like a certain type of way, but you don't really have the credentials. Like, who are you? Like, why would you, you know what I'm saying? Like, who are you that you could even use that? Like, you don't even know what you know, so, but I wanted to put a positive construction on these things and really try to get people to go back into a different direction in terms of what they were thinking, because this ain't it. So when the people disconnected from that world try to emulate that world, they don't really understand what they're seeing. So they're emulating, oh, okay, they got nice cars and clothes, so that obviously meant that's what they were doing. No, that's just a byproduct of excess. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that they were actually trying to do was put schools in the community, stores, put shops, bring the things to the community that they didn't otherwise have a means to
The
do.
same thing that every other street organization did, you know, from every other culture. That you use the black market to create a real market. You know, the thing is, we never got the game on graduating from the street to the corporate, which everybody else.
Because the game was over before that shift
That
could
street is
happen.
over. That street shit over now, bro. Like, if you walk around with a pack in your pocket, man, there's a cap to what you're going to do in life. That's just it.
Well,
There's no more chances for the you know, the Bumpy Johnson, the chance for the Freeway Ricky Ross. That shit is over with, man. Unless you really working with the feds.
not
Unless
in
you
that,
really
not
working
in
with
that
the
same
feds.
space. You know what I'm saying? You can do that in new spaces. You just got to be a pioneer. You can't think of trying to recreate something from the 80s or the 70s in the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? You got to be, you know, in the Bitcoin or metaverse somewhere, or in the, you know, you got to be into something new. You got to be exploring, you know, you got to be exploring. You got to be in a new universe somewhere, doing something new. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not that same energy. But everybody kind of looks to idolize that. Everybody wants to be the killer. Everybody wants to be the drug dealer, to the point where guys that's 9 to 5, like everybody's dressing that same way. Like when you go to a club nowadays, we don't realize, like we forget that police, feds, whatever you want to name, state troopers, like all these different names of organizations, these are regular people. Guess what regular people do? Regular people drink and regular people party.
Yeah.
Guess what? You can't tell who's who when you're in the club. So when you go to a nightclub, just know that it's not just the guys at the front, but some of those ladies that you see in there with their butt out and all that, those is cops in the daytime. Some of them dudes in the VIP with mad chains on and bottles and all that. Look,
30,000. It's a federal agent.
Those are cops in the daytime.
Federal agent.
So now that everybody's wearing the same clothes, because it's hip hop culture now, and it's something that could be exported. There's no mystique to that. There's nothing special to that. There's nothing unique to that. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone looks the same in that space. So there's not even anything to differentiate yourself in that space. So there's really no reason to try to fake that. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that could come along with being a killer is death. You know what I'm saying? In one way, shape, form, or fashion. So even the people that really live that way, they wouldn't like make music and say, yo, we did this at
Never.
this, and detail the events. And I think even in music, they get it twisted and go, yeah, but y'all had hardcore music back in the days. I'm like, see, this is where dropping out of school becomes a problem. This is where illiteracy taps in. I will do is very different than I have done. Very, very small shift, but means all the difference in the world, especially if your ass has to stand in front of a court. I will do means that I have not done, but in this given situation, I'm liable to respond this way. I have done means I am guilty of. I have done means like to the authorities, ha, 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 you can't get me, because I'm saying that I've been doing all this shit and getting away with it. And I'm even going to flaunt it by making videos. I'm going to show you the weapons we use. I'm going to show you the money from the drugs. I'm going to show you everything.
I'm going to do a whole little skit to be pulling up and popping some dudes. Like, it's really stupid. Like, who is this one dude we trying to be?
Wait. I think it was Method Man. It was either Method Man or Snoop. They just did a video. And they was like, yo, where are all these young rappers getting these stacks of money to flash? Because you're like, yo, I've been in the music business a long time. You don't have that kind of money right out the gate. You know what I'm saying? So that right there should have been a wake up to the young guys. Like, hey, we watching the videos with the jewelry store guys, and you keep coming in the jewelry store with book bags full of jewelry. I mean, book bags full of cash to turn into jewelry. Like, everyone's watching. Why do you have to? And if you're doing all that for real, why is that all on camera? Like, and then once you put it all on camera, you got to know it's a trade-off. You trade it off. You know what I'm saying? Your life for the fame. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. Like I said, it was just a really good conversation. I ain't mean to spend so much time on that because we need to talk about melanin and diabetes. But it was a good conversation I had with Young Thug Pops. And I don't think that, I think that everybody having these conversations, you know, that's just another dynamic to be able to talk right to Young Thug Pops, because not only does he have a tight relationship, you know what I'm saying, but he's also has a business relationship. He's a part of the music YSL thing and all that kind of stuff. So his Pops was able to really, go, he was transparent. He answered everything, even stuff that you would think that he wouldn't touch, like the dress and all that kind of stuff. Like he just wasn't afraid. So
yeah, that just let me know Young Thug was one of them dudes. And I mean, as like a rapper, it's like being a chef. You watch what you eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Here's the thing. Sometimes we put more conspiracy on it than it has to be. You know what I'm saying? one of the things that I always highlighted about people thinking a lot of money means success is that if money is the marker for success, then that opens the door for you to not really have a moral code, right? And then anything that you can do for money is justified by the money that comes after.
Like you get money, yeah.
Yeah, because hey, come on now, money is on the floor. So who ain't gonna put on a dress? Who ain't gonna kill their neighbor? Who ain't gonna shoot their sister, their brother, their cousin? Who ain't gonna sell their mama heroin crack? Like I said, hey, somebody gotta get that sale. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, I might as well get that sale and let the nigga across the street get the sale. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but like I said, the man wore a little girl's dress, so no, you know what I'm saying. It's just not. I won't give him a chance to philosophize. It's just not even something that
listen. The philosophy is great because listen, I'm gonna say this. I thought that. I mean, it's two ways you could look at it, but the philosophy behind it may not be real or mean shit to me or you, but to the people making those decisions, it's real to them because in their mind, again, money is the highest thing you can attain to demonstrate your success. So if that's the case, if the bag is big enough, and in that,
yeah, no, I understand that. It's just simple and plain. It's just cut with me because there's plenty of dudes who didn't do it, and that wouldn't even be my conversation. Well, Method Man didn't wear a dress. How, like, real talk.
I kind of had that kind of.
Did Elon Musk have to wear a dress? Did Mark Zuckerberg wear a dress?
Listen, wait, we got to that space in the conversation. And I was like, hold on. The largest artist right now, because that came up. Well, everybody just want to hear a certain type of, they want to hear the drill. So that's why we're doing the drill, but we could do any type of music. I'm like, nah. We're not with that. We're not gonna let that fly because Drake doesn't do that. Drake ain't doing drill. Jay-Z ain't doing drill. Kanye ain't doing drill. Kendrick ain't doing drill. Like it's the biggest artists right now aren't doing drill music. So you can't get away with even that excuse by saying that everybody want to hear it. So that's why you're doing it. Like that's not it because everybody don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to that shit in my house. You know what I'm saying? Period. And there's a lot of them types of songs that I won't let my children listen to. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's redundant, monotonous, and you can tell that it doesn't come from life experience. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on that. I could respect some of it a little bit more if I know it was really built on life experience.
It's the energy with me. Like you could clearly tell the energy. Like I could tell the energy in a King Von over a.
Well, listen. If you were 16 years old, 17 years old, like how much can you tell me about making mistakes and such? Like you a baby still. You ain't lived nothing. You ain't even out of high school yet. You haven't even graduated school yet. You don't have life experience to really share with the world like that. So you have to kind of make up a synthetic vibe because you don't really have life experience. When you're a child artist, the only thing you can really talk about is fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so once they made fun not cool, now you got all these young kids that want to still, they got the talent in them, so they got to express it. So what are you going to talk about? You know what I'm saying? You can't rap about kid and play type of party vibe because that's lame. You know what I'm saying? So what you talking about? Even though the largest young artists are doing that, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a few of them. I can't think of their name, but there's a few young artists that's just talking about having girlfriends and fun and driving around and woo woo, and they get into their bag. But you don't have the life experience. Like that's like me trying to listen to a 17-year-old for relationship experience. Like, bruh, you don't even have children yet. You haven't even been alive long enough.
Your heart broke. Yeah, I mean the thing with me with music, what drew me to music was it was always like the struggle. It was a representation. It was like the voice box of the people who had no voice. And it was like once you get on there, I'm talking about all the way back to KRS-One, you know what I'm saying, all the way to to now to stuff like Lil Durk or Chief Keef or like that.
That's genetic. That goes all the way back to when we was in in the continent, using drums to communicate. Like So, but we got away from that space of putting actual information over the drums and woo woo woo, even though the technology is still being used. So now we're using that as a social programming tool as opposed to a communication tool. You know what I'm saying? And the most relevant part, though, at least for me personally, was like he was like, yeah, and so no matter how much money you make, you're still gonna be black. And I was like, oh my God, that's it right there. So then I'm like, so I start digging in, and they that's where they were starting to get me to like pull me off the stage, kind of, because I'm like, no, what does it mean to be black? Because we got to deal with this. This is the reason why black folks have a 200% risk factor for diabetes. This is why we have the 200% risk factor for Alzheimer's, because as much of this black shit motherfuckers are screaming, we don't even know what the fuck that means to be black. What is black? You know what I'm saying? And when you speak to most folks, it really comes down to ignorance and criminal behavior, to the point where last night I put up a picture on my Instagram of Fat Joe. I said, is Fat Joe a black man or a white man? Period. I just want to ask I just, and people was looking right at the picture of Fat Joe. And they go, nope, this is a black man. I'm like, wait, okay, first of all, I love Fat Joe. I'm from the Bronx. But are we all looking at the same picture? And if we're all looking at this picture and saying that this is a black man, are we also saying that Eminem is a black man? And they say, well, nah, clearly Eminem is a white man. But I'm like, okay, so what does black? Is black mean white but speak Spanish? So is Spanish speaking, is knowing how to speak Spanish now? Is that?
No, he's a I believe he's a white Hispanic.
Yeah, but
if he's accepted in that, I don't know. But the thing is, he is accepted in the black culture, as some white people. There's a space in black culture for everybody, which will give them an illusion. I'm
That's
black.
right. And so, because we don't know what that means now, anything can fly as quote unquote black culture, dietary, right? Genetic wise, etc., etc. We have no idea what that means. So, along with that same culture comes, the junk food, the pasta, and we know pasta's like, I don't know how pasta became black food, because pasta's clearly Italian. I don't know how all these rices became black food, because that's clearly like a Chinese thing. I don't know how, like, all these.
I mean, because the food especially isn't designed off of any other culture but American culture. So as America introduced hot dogs and hamburgers, that's barbecue. Whatever else, it's a pizza, spaghetti.
And look, I'm glad you're saying it that way, because even those things, it's not really American culture, even though they pass it off that way. Because when you look in America, the quote unquote black folks only like 12, 13%. So you look at the Caucasians, that's largely the majority of the country. Well, in their house, they don't eat that shit. That shit is the shit they eat like on a holiday or outside or whatever the case may be with everybody else. But at home, they're eating their normal German dishes, their Italian dishes. They're eating their Swiss dishes. They're eating their Dutch dishes. They're eating their, their French dishes. They're eating their Canadian dishes. They're eating the actual foods from Ireland or Scotland or wherever the fuck they from. You know what I'm saying? They eat their traditional foods. You know what I'm saying? So, all of these things, we really have to unpack this invisible identity that's not really a real thing. So, I have to get, tap my hat to, shout out to Taj Tariq Bey, because Taj Tariq Bey kind of predicted this a long time ago, that our use of black to identify ourselves will become an all-time epidemic. Now, I don't know if he was able to foresee exactly how many ways it would be applied and kind of hurt the urban communities and just black folks at large. But nonetheless, I have to take off my hat and say that's the first person that really kind of was drilling that home. And now I could see that playing out, because even when I did the poll and it was me, a black or dark-skinned man in Detroit. And then I had my partner, shout out to Carly, a white-skinned lady in Canada. And we both doing a poll at the same time. And we're asking people, what is melanin? Just random people on the street. What is melanin? Do you know what melanin is? And nobody knew what melanin was. Now, mind you, this is like white folks, black folks. This is just general random people on the street. They don't even know what that is. So to ask people, are you black? Yeah, I'm black. Okay. What have you ever heard of the word melanin? Um, what you mean? Melatonin? What you mean? Melanoma? I'm like, okay, see, that's right there where the problem is. We really don't have an idea what it means socially, economically, or even genetically, what black is, what pigment is. And so this is largely what I discover that's so miraculous with diabetes, is that diabetes, type 2 diabetes, is largely a disease of the pigment systems in the body, you know. And one of the things that, because we're getting ready to start another 40-day fast in June, and we're going to run the 40-day fast in June all the way up to our summit in July. We're doing a summit in New York. The tickets will go on sale this week for our diabetes summit. It's going to be crazy. At the Hudson Valley Theater, upstate New York, but we're going to do a fast all the way up to that point. And even people ask me, like, they're like, well, we know one of the other brothers you started out with doing the fast. We seen y'all kind of go like this over the years. And, a lot of us want to know if y'all ever going to have potential to come back and do anything together. And it's like, I don't really have beef with Duke at all. You know what I'm saying? But where our fundamental ideas on health are so opposingly different, there's not a space for us to come back together unless he was to publicly, say that, he's kind of, changed his position, you know what I'm saying? Because his position was that the pigments in the food was unhealthy. So you need to skin all of your fruits and vegetables before eating them, right? Because the skin of fruits and vegetables was toxic to people, period. That the seeds in fruits and vegetables were toxic to people. And, that the thing that made them so toxic was the phosphorus, the plant-based phosphorus inside the fruits and the vegetables. Well, my whole program is built on getting in the plant-based phosphorus, getting in, a high pigment and high fiber diet. So if your program is anti-pigment, anti-fiber, anti-phosphorus, we even though there's no personal issue, what I'm saying, we can't share a stage because we just diametrically
you can't respect both of those at the same time. One would have to be undermined.
Right. There's no way to share a stage and so, and to me it's just like intuitive. Like, if the most important systems in your body are the various pigments that you have, from hemoglobin to melanin to myoglobin to your retinols to your melanopsins to your your neuromelanin, your brain, like, if all of those things are the most primary, is that if that makes up or comprises the most primary system in the body, it makes sense that you would need to feed those systems in order to maintain them and keep them in good shape. And so if that's not the case, then what I'm saying, like I said, it's just not a place that we can, what I'm saying. So, but we've been able to just, advance what we're doing to a level where we now, a lot of the institutionalized ears are listening because they understand that we've been able to really create some groundbreaking paradigm here. People try to discredit immediately the work I put out, and it's impossible, because the first thing that you notice when you examine, for instance, the beta cells in the pancreas, right, is, okay, vitamin D receptors. So we know, okay, we have issues with vitamin D. But the other thing is melanin concentrating hormone receptors all throughout those insulin producers. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way to get around your melanin system being the primary determinant of eating, sleeping, regenerating, the basic things of being alive. And it's not something that's unique to humans. It's in all the animal kingdom. Their pigment is what determines those things, like the pigment system, because all of those things are based on light. You know what I'm saying? This is a solar and water based planet. So anything that is required or leans on light for information, you're going to have a system of pigments to interpret that light. And if something goes wrong with that system of pigments, then guess what's going to happen? The first thing that's going to go wrong is your hormones. So now, when we're talking about insulin and some of these other hormones being, overproduced or underproduced, we got to understand what is the hierarchy in the body. How are those things stimulated? How are those things produced? And we go to the hierarchy of hormones. Hormones are basically the instructions produced from the gland centers that interpret the information that comes from the pigment system. So before your body produces hormones from the glandular system, that information has to come from the pigment system. You know what I'm saying? And we've been able to fine tune it to a certain space where we can, just make some incredible, like I've been accused lately of thirst trapping, you know what I'm saying? Because I have a couple of shirt off pics on IG, like, yo, this nigga Enqi thirst trapping.
Now, I remember when you put the same picture up there, like you had a gut. I say, was he thirst trapping then? I remember when you did, they was like, man, what I'm gonna do about this?
Right. So,
Yeah.
and that just be because I'm a fat boy at heart. You know what I'm saying? So that to me, I'm like, yo, I don't even understand some of the things that goes on with these people, because if I look around at my contemporaries in the quote unquote healing space, none of these guys you have ever seen fat. You've never seen these guys fat. That's number one. But number two, you've never seen any of them in good shape. You've never seen any of these guys in good shape. I'm the only one that you've seen in both spaces. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if these guys know how to get you into good shape, how come they haven't demonstrated it on themselves first? You know what I'm saying? These guys is either like skinny fat or just super skinny. Like, none of these are things that I would aspire to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, I could do that on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just certain things that I think kind of slips over us in the world of kind of like, sound bites and foolishness that, we inundate ourselves with, that we missing, like when it's time to get serious. It's cool to play, laugh, and bullshit, you know what I'm saying, and dig into, the shit, but there's got to be a time we put that stuff down, and then we've kind of focus on, you know what I'm saying, real shit. So we're going to use the fast starting in June, to really focus in, allow people to really share in some of the benefits as we roll up to the summit. Hopefully tickets will be on sale this week, but we even looking at making it a full-blown health initiative where we're looking at maybe giving away, doing a CMOS giveaway or Conjures Crispus giveaway, you know what I'm saying? Because I got it like that. Not just kidding. No, I'm not that. I'm not kidding. I do.
No, I gotta commend you on your work, and your consistency on the Corpus Christi CMOS, deal that you got going on, man. That's not light. And as easy it is to just look over shit in today, need something quick in microwave. I still pay attention to the things that are consistent.
Hey, these niggas ain't been in the ocean. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, all the conversation in the world, like, have you been in the ocean? Did you get your CMOS that you're selling us on Amazon, or was your ass wearing a wetsuit in the ocean? We just want to know that part. Like, immediately that should quiet shit down, but people get so caught up in But Enqi got gold teeth. What? Enqi got gold teeth. Clearly, that means that we should know.
And I can say that about you too. You were one of the, when I came to the YouTube space, one of the people whose box was harder to identify. So many people, you knew exactly what box they was. They had the Feds, they was more, they had the I'm sorry, Israelites. around the bottom of this, that, the other, and it was just certain things. They didn't eat pork. They was Muslim, and it was like Enqi was the go-to. I got a fez, but don't wear a fez. Respect to the Israelite brothers. Islam.
And you know what's crazy? That hurt me over the years.
Of course.
That I was the only person that actually did what everybody was saying. Because if you look around, right, all these guys are saying that everybody should come together, right? But no one is actually demonstrated their effort to do that.
Because each one of them people have an audience that's not on that shit.
Right.
And they say, fuck y'all. I'm
scared to. No, they scared to, because that to me shows lack of integrity. The moment that you scared to lose viewers or likes or a few dollars, so you don't do the thing that you think is intrinsically right, that's a blow to your integrity to me. You know what I'm saying? I've never been confined based on views or likes. I'm like, nah, fuck these views and likes. These ain't even real people anyway. I'm gonna do what works for me long term, because at the end of the day, my children got to watch this shit and look at this shit later on. And I need to be able to beat on my chest, not for the audience of people that I don't see, but for my babies that's coming behind me. I need to be able to say I can stand on my shit that I did. Right, wrong, or indifferent, as long as I feel good about the decisions I make, I'm comfortable with whatever come behind it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, no, I don't have no problem with rocking out with the Israelite brothers. Why not? There's plenty of truth in the Bible. I don't have any problem with rocking out with my Muslim brothers. Why not? There's plenty of truth in the Quran.
And we don't even got to talk about either.
Yeah, I don't have no problem.
I can rock out with them, and we ain't got to talk about the Bible or the Quran.
We can talk about some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can identify as parents, or we can talk about, people that are just, because health is something that cuts the, like,
universal.
And when we're talking about pigment, the craziest thing about pigment is, because the institution of science has so many racial ideologies interwoven in that fabric, melanin is almost as a dirty word as motherfucker. In fact, motherfucker is actually, thanks to Samuel Jackson, a cleaner word in pop culture than melanin. The moment you say melanin, you got to whisper and look around, like, to see who you offending, where motherfucker automatically gets a laugh. Anything you add motherfucker to is now funny, even though motherfucker implies rape. In a world and time where pedophilia and pedophiles is like the main thing that we hunting down to get rid of, motherfucker is the funniest, coolest word you can add to a sentence. Anything you almost add motherfucker to becomes funny. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, yo, that guy fell right there, hit his head on the floor and needed some stitches. Hey, did y'all see that motherfucker fall right there? Look at that motherfucker, bust his motherfucker. All of a sudden, it's funny now. You know what I'm saying? Like, melanin has got the exact dirt. You say melanin, white folks get offended because it seems like you're leaving them out. Black folks get scared because you may be messing with their job stability. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you have brain cells, you do know that you have melanin. And if you don't take care of it, you do know that your Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, your obesity, all these things are predicated on that, because it's actually melanin, the melanin system that controls your obesity, right? Because if we're looking at fat cells, the thing that controls whether fat cells get rid of fat or not is your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands, through your nerves and all that, your adrenal glands and your nerves, we'll just put them together, make it simple. They stimulate the fat cells to release the sugars and the things that make your fat cells large, right? So if you don't get that stimulatory effect there, people are like, wait a minute. No, it's not. That's because y'all don't stay in the studio long enough. See, y'all got to just send the money into me. $ Minister Enqi, support me so I could do the research while you at home not doing the research, and I could provide y'all with the real answers, right? But epinephrine is stimulated, long story short, from the brain. ACTH, that comes from the POMC molecule, but the POMC is largely just melanin stimulating hormone in repeating. It's a repeating block of melanin stimulating hormone. So even the ACTH that stimulates the adrenal glands is a large block of melanin stimulating hormone that's released in the body in the form of epinephrine, that's going to control whether your fat cells, are are able to constantly release the fat. And then obviously, whether the fat cells are innervated properly and all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Which, you kind of fix with some exercise and some other stuff like that. But just understanding that this is a part of the melanin network, like that to me makes the article legendary. You know what I'm saying? To understand that all of the stem cells in your body, the nuclear, the nuclear DNA, all of these things require melanin caps to protect them and keep them healthy. Just so many different facets of real science attached to this. If we understood this shit, I think that there's a space like now, and I always get the arrows because I'm a real researcher, meaning I'm an explorer. I'm the guy that walks first. I'm the first comer. I'm the guy that lays down the tracks. So when I lay down the tracks, it's always going to be more difficult than the people that's just running over this.
You don't have a pre-written script, that
Right.
you just got to follow these stuff. There's no blueprint to what you're doing.
No.
The
So
thing that a lot of people really don't grasp is like when you do research, it's a voyage. It takes you places. A lot of people automatically don't go there because they have an agenda or a pre-written script. You don't have that inability. You can say, no, let me look at this, even though it might be something that corrects me, that I have to go back on and say, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Because look, in the short term, it's something that will divide the people. But I think in the long term, I think that pigment is the one thing that can unite people, because it crosses it crosses all boundaries. It's the one thing that all life depends on. Even pigeons, bumblebees, like this lions, tigers, bears. Oh my! Like this is the one thing that unites us all. And I think if there's any one thing that can get us over that imaginary racial hump, you know what I'm saying, which to me is more inhibitory to our progress than anybody else's, because we got these ideas in our mind that nobody else is operating under. Even people that quote unquote are in the community, like that's like, oh, we you hear them have these conversations online, and then you don't realize, because we don't realize how business goes. Like, bruh, wait a minute. Dame Dash, listening to your conversation, bro, you sound like super anti-white folks, but all of your business partners are white. Why aren't you sharing those conversations? Why are you just giving us the angry conversations when you're ranting? You're not telling us that all your deals are with white folks. So why would you? And my problem with that is, why would you confine the people who listen and learn from you to not doing business with the very people that you're doing business with that are empowering you?
Or at least be that open example of how to do business with them, so
with everybody,
what that looks like.
Nobody else is operating on that mindset. Even when you listen to these financial guys and they talk about, we need to increase how long the dollar circulates in the black community by only doing business with black folks. I don't know any other groups of people that do that like that. I spent time in the Jewish community, so I know that in the Jewish community, they have a certain preference to doing business with each other, but they're not cutting off no other money. They're not doing deals with no.
I think that past that level, it's a unique situation with us where that helps us to a cap. What that does is get the money into the right hands, and then those people would have to go trade with outsiders. It's the thing is getting enough money together in one, concentrating in one to actually make an impact. So it's like, okay, group economics, I get it. Now,
listen, I'm ashamed that in 2022 we still need to have this kind of conversation, because
we're 100 years behind in everything.
Bro, the black quote unquote conscious community, when I was 5 and 6 years old, and that's another thing, a lot of these people getting conscious on YouTube, they don't even know that there was a black conscious community 30 years
real life,
40 years ago. Like they and if they heard about it, they wasn't there
years ago. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But largely they was having the same conversations then. And it's shameful that 40 years later we're still having the same conversation. But there has to be a maturity that we exhibit, and that only comes from having more of a global experience and getting out. And this is the thing about being in your lips being stuck in your neighborhood all your life. You know what I'm saying? You don't realize until you go into other spaces what it looks like. And again, shout out to Taj Tariq, because he was really having an early conversation about returning into the fold of humanity, and just some of the things that even within the conscious community we thought, we like, yo, this Taj Tariq with this old Title 42 lawsuit bullshit. We're like, yo, if this nigga say Title 42 lawsuit one more fucking time, I'm gonna vomit. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the shit that he was saying was the things that unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, we got to, and if you guys never heard of who that is, then you guys got to pull up some of them old videos and get in the, you might have to go in that bag, because he was having this conversation about racial maturity, and growing past these boundaries. And the deeper and deeper I go into some of the problems that we have with health in the medical industry is the fact that we're not properly represented there, right? But the problem is further compounded because we don't know how we're supposed to be represented there, right?
What is properly represented when you're 14% of the nation?
Well, first things first is you can't be properly represented anywhere based on your anatomy and physiology if you don't know what your anatomy and physiology is. So if I ask 10 black folks what is melanin, and 10 out of 10 of them don't know what melanin is, then they don't have the ability to say, I am black, I'm not black. This is how to represent black. This is not black. If black is based on the content of pigment that we externally produce. If we're basing it on skin tone, but we don't understand what that is or what that does, there is no way to properly, you know what I'm saying? And then to take it a step further, if somebody is putting in the time to do that research, I gotta damn near choke niggas through the computer to send the fucking money in to send somebody to and then when I constantly get banned off of different places, you know what I'm saying? People don't understand. It's like, now we on, Patreon, go to Patreon, look for Dr. Enqi, patreon.com/Dr. Enqi. So if you're looking for my videos, the whole 15-year block of videos is being uploaded to Patreon.
To your Patreon. That's awesome.
Yeah. So well, just to kind of like eliminate some of the like to lower the numbers again. You know what I'm saying? The strength is not in numbers, so to speak, it's in active numbers. So it's a better way for me to separate what we're doing and then separate the viewers. Like, these are the people that are just viewing for shits and giggles, versus these are the people that are supporting this because they understand the importance of it. But yeah, that's, like we got to really take this thing into that type of space and really realize, if we're not willing to do the research, if we're not willing to invest the money for the research to be done, then we don't have a conversation. It's the same as people complaining about, politics, but they don't vote. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you cannot have a voice if you're not actively, if you're not active. And there is no understanding health. There's no understanding the diet. There's none of that if you don't first do the prerequisite, which is understanding your body. You know what I'm saying? So I just be, closed-minded, and sometimes it comes off as arrogance when I don't want to hear what someone is saying or whatever the case may be. But it's just, if it's not researched, I already know you can't really say much. If I ask you what's melanin, you don't know. Or if I say something about melanin and you think that means black people, then I know that you don't really know much, because melanin is in all people. Everybody has melanin. White folks have melanin. Like,
everybody has a pigment.
I didn't realize that in 2022, there was still people that thought that only black people had melanin and that white people did not have melanin. And that if you speak Spanish or if you speak a language, that means that you're not a white person because of the language you speak. So it's just so much complicated shit. I was like, this is why niggas are sick. that we can't get on one page about who we are, let alone what our goals are and all those other things, which is taking me back to the money circulating in the community. It's more about having goals that are in alignment than anything external. We're just looking at it because sometimes the people whose goals are in alignment also have other national or things in alignment that for us from the outside looking in, and we don't have those types of things going on, and we don't understand what's going on over there. We make these assumptions. Oh, that must be racial. That's white folks. Woo-woo. But white folks don't operate like that. Germans don't get along with Jewish folks like that. I mean, did we forget the Holocaust? Those are all white folks technically, and clearly, clearly they wasn't in the same agenda. Okay, when we look over there right now, Russia and Ukraine, those are quote unquote white folks, and clearly they're not on the same page, same global agenda. Like, so we got to get like there's a space where we just really sound ridiculous when we're making some of these claims. Like, we got to realize that there's not. And if we look at the global landscape, you know what I'm saying? Africans don't vibe with American blacks. Jamaicans don't vibe with American blacks. Haitians don't vibe with American blacks.
Why would they? I mean, most people form a relationship off of economics. You know, I trade with you and then I find out you're cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean, how do they get to meet black people?
1 second.
Go ahead. Yeah, how would they get to meet black people? Most relationships are established through business. And you find out, oh, shit, you know, over business lunch, your food is cool or your music is good or whatever it is. But, you know, most of the time, black people aren't offered as any type of relationship other than a party or some shit like that. So,
listen, because a lot of times there's nothing else bringing you coming to the table with. You know what I'm saying? At least that you're presenting, except that you can be a part of having a really good time, because that's what it's all about, is having a really good time. You know what I'm saying?
Sports. I think that's the sports,
which is really another form of entertainment. Yeah, which is also entertainment. It's about having.
Dennis Rodman made it to North Korea, so you know what I'm saying. That was something to me. That was something. Dennis Rodman sat down with Kim Jong Il, whichever one it was, and made it back. So Dennis Rodman got on national television in North Korea.
Wait, and those North Koreans are known to be some of the most quote unquote racial folks on the planet. You know what I'm saying? But clearly, there was a commonality there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like a lot of these things, like, we really have to have some sort of intellectual and emotional maturity to approach some of these things. And again, back to Taj, you know, get back into the fold of humanity. I think that's what's really going on right now. There has to be a separation between criminality and what we call urban culture or black culture. You know what I'm saying? If we want to still tie ours, if we still trying to use the black term to identify ourselves, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? If we're trying to do something with that, you know what I'm saying? Even though it doesn't really tie us to a real nationality. But you got to do something better with that than criminality. You know what I'm saying? Because if illegal recreational drugs and crime is the culture, you know what I'm saying? It's a self-sustaining stereotype. You know what I'm saying? So we've got to start to accept if everybody stereotypes us that way, because we're stereotyping ourselves that way. You know what I'm saying? And I learned this, again, from having conversations. So, of course, in our circles where we frequent, there's going to be more people that don't agree with that than do. But outside of our circles, a lot of people think that, you know, keeping it real is, you know, busting your gun, and, you really about that life, getting money, and do, you know, like, all this is the kilos and the Dracos and the this, that, and the other. And even when you hear success stories, right? All the success stories that's marketed to our children are guys that were ex-convicts that made it back.
There hasn't been that one success.
But somebody that's been shot, you know, 175 times, and now they can tell you, you know, stay in school and shit like that. Our children, they get insulted with that story. You know what I'm saying? Because if you made it to be 100 millionaire, billionaire, whatever, and then you tell them don't follow you, go do some other shit. That's like an insult. They're like, nah, I don't want to work in Walmart. I don't want to be a social worker. I want a Bentley. I want a big house. I want financial freedom. I want to put my kids through school or whatever the case may be. So, and I'm a warrior. So if I need to get shot to do that, to be able to take my mama out the hood, I'm willing to do that. If I need to, so we don't realize the inner workings of the mind is like, so this is where you get responses from the babies that goes, oh, well, it's our turn to do our thing. When y'all was our age, y'all was wilding. So now y'all trying to stop us from doing what we doing, like, nah, we trying to, like, you gotta let us do us. Like, no. That's why my thing has always been change the trend, change the paradigm. We that's not the success story. We don't need to keep saying that, those guys weren't looked at as, like, and then that was controlled by the marketing of particular types of street people to the next generations, right? So even when we look at the guys in the 60s and 70s, whatever, who you never hear about? You never hear about the guys that quote unquote got away.
Mm-hmm.
You never hear about guys that made a lot of money somewhere that escaped. You only hear about the ones that got like a triple life sentence. They snitched on everybody, or they got killed, or you only hear those stories. So now those stories become the rites of passage, and now the gamble becomes, can I participate and know the moment to get out before I become those guys? And it's like, nah, because those guys were laying tracks. They was doing something that wasn't done before. So there wasn't, 1,000 cameras on them with 1,000 microphones, and this, like, it wasn't this world here. Like, you can't live the yesteryear world in this world, because in that world where you watching Goodfellas and Scarface and all this other goofy shit, even Menace to Society. You know what I'm saying? The world of 1,000,000 cameras hadn't been born yet. But when I was looking at Menace to Society just last week, going over it with my sons, you know what I'm saying? Me and my sons watching it, and I'm like, wow, it's so much that I hadn't remembered that was pumped into my subconscious that just passed right by. You remember punk ass Chauncey from Menace to Society, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what completely slipped over my mind? Like when I was watching, and when Menace to Society came out, I was one of the repeat watchers. Like, we used to watch Menace to Society every day in my block. You know what I'm saying? Punk ass Chauncey was an admitted pedophile in the movie.
Yeah.
That shit totally went over my head.
Yeah. That's like the dude who was dating Ace's girlfriend, Ace's sister, in Paid in Full. The dude who had the glasses with no lenses in them.
Yeah, pedophiles. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? We done had this shit pumped into our subconscious, because when we was watching it, it was either too short. I thought it was Kane, but somebody came on my post, because I put a post up on IG. Somebody came on a post and said, no, it was too short. But either way, it was a scene where it was like, yo, why you got all these doll babies in the house? And he said, yeah, because I like little girls, motherfucker, and defended it, and then walked off into his thug shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? I'm like, yo, how did we miss this? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did we miss this? You know what I'm saying? And then even the early warning for social media self-snitching was in Menace to Society. Literally, that was like one of the main points of the fucking movie, was that old dog was showing the video everywhere.
Recording this shit, yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Not that he recorded it, but that he was showing the video to everybody after. You know what I'm saying?
It went viral.
But viral before viral. You know what I'm saying? Before it was social media, it was DVD and video. You know what I'm saying? They was VHS tapes. They was watching VCR tapes. But I'm like, yo, we already had all this info about certain things, and we still, like, we missed it. And we missed it because of the programming. We missed it because we all were in love with Old Dog, because he was the killer. He was the shooter. He popped the Chinese guy that disrespected him. And because we got this racial backlog where we've secretly been wanting to get revenge or have this sort of action for the shit that we've experienced, we automatically turn old dog into a hero in the movie, because when he gets the racial comments from the Korean guy, he immediately handles it with his gun, bang, handles his business. And, you know, so everybody's old dog was the hero. And how was Sharif positioned in that movie?
The
Sharif,
same way he is in every movie, a joke.
the bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? The nigga kicking the knowledge is the bitch ass nigga. You know
I never liked
wait. He was the only one whose father was around. Remember now, the bitch ass nigga is the guy who's got the father that's in the household raising him.
Has some type of instruction that was alternate to the hood. I never liked Menace to Society. I never liked I like South Central. I like Boys in the Hood. Never liked New Jack City. It was, it was cartoonish to me. It was very, and I get it in a movie. You have to like really overplay stuff so it sticks out. But I don't think we're that childish. I think you can really give it to us how it is. So yeah, for some reason I was never drawn to like colors and Menace to Society and New Jack City. But I like Boys in the Hood. I ain't gonna lie.
We watched Menace to Society in the Bronx like it was religion. Like it was religion. And when I tell you the murder rate went up, oh my goodness, the murder rate was insane in that time period. You know what I'm saying? Like I can remember a time where on 141st and Cypress, you know what I'm saying? Now, if people don't know what I'm saying, this goes over their head. But there was a time period on 141st and Cypress. In your morning, like when you walk into school in the morning, there was always like a dead body somewhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you always could walk past a dead body the same way, like in Boys in the Hood, when you know what I'm saying? Like, so, but that's a time period. You know what I'm saying? And so people think when we talk about surviving those times, that's like we're bragging, or we're like, no. The only people that would make light of that or make it entertainment or try to monetize that are people that they weren't there.
They didn't live that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
they didn't have to figure out a solution for that.
Yeah.
They didn't have to, sacrifice resources toward, compensating for that. So yeah, they can look at it as fun and entertaining and walk away.
And people don't realize, like, all of these things contributes to the type 2 diabetes. They don't get not knowing self. Not knowing self is the only possible way for people that are supposed to have dominant genes to have a shorter lifespan. Like, if you have dominant genes, that should be synonymous with longer lifespan. But how do you have dominant genes and a shorter lifespan? How do you have dominant genes and then have a 200% higher proclivity to metabolic illness? Like, metabolic illness literally is how well your genes are functioning. So how do you have the dominant genes, but you have the worst metabolism? How do you have to, like, none of it makes sense.
You have the best things and take the worst care of it. I feel like, of course, we're not going to save everybody, not going to reach everybody. I just think it needs to be some type of collectivizing. Like, black people who are mature need to collectivize.
And that's where we are. That's why it's patreon.com/Dr. Enqi. We're good with the riffraff. We just want the people that are focused on, like, really getting their shit together.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to roll out the fast starting in June. So between now and June, we're going to try to make it aware, give awareness to everybody, let everybody know we're going to do this together, because people is looking at me. Like I said, they say, man, Enqi, you looking like you out there thirst trapping right now with your shirt off and all that. I'm like, no, I just found a way, and I stumbled onto this after the article, or in the process of me collating the information to put the article together. I stumbled onto this where if you make certain tweaks, your weight will literally fall off you without having to work out. I got 5 children. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I don't really have the time to dedicate to, going to the gym and maintaining memberships and having, an hour, 2-3 hours to work out every day, or even 3, 4, 5 days a week. So this little thing I stumbled onto where now the weight is literally falling off my body. I'm like, yo, hold on. I done found the sweet spot. I'm ready to, obviously, like everything else, I want to share this, you know what I'm saying? But this is a game changer. You know what I'm saying? Because basically, to make a long story short, we got 5 minutes. I found a space where, like, between not exercising and, full on going to the gym to try to build muscle and get all crazy, like, you can speed up your metabolism to a healthy speed without trying to get crazy and do 1,000 push-ups or muscle ups or backwards, because we looking online and shit. We trying to get in shape and we go type in calisthenics and you got a nigga doing like 20 pull-ups with his pinky, and you just look at that shit like, you know what? He looks really good and amazing, but there's no way in hell that I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, break my damn neck trying to do, like, you know what I'm saying? That's not required to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the first person to tell y'all, you don't have to do all that crazy stuff to be healthy or speed up your metabolism. Just some real small changes. And, we put out a book. I put out a book called The Soul Craft Scroll. I wrote it. I wish I had sold it, but I probably wouldn't have had the impact on the world if I would have put a price to it. So because I made it philanthropic and just gave the book out, I wrote it to give away. We're over 500,000 copies now with the Soul Craft Scroll out there. So we're working on part 2, and part 2 will have all of the cheat codes and all of the stuff for diabetes and your metabolism and all that. If it's not free, it's gonna be like some old $5-10, like it's for the masses. I tell people all the time, this information don't come from me, it comes through me. So I gotta hire, I got somebody I gotta answer to.
But there's a monetary scale on life right now that we can't ignore. Bills have to be paid, food has to be bought, and even some luxuries have to be given because that's a psychological aid. It feels good to be, go on vacation. It feels good to take.
Not only that, people don't respect it if they don't see that. You know what I'm saying? So they want to see a certain level.
That's a certain crowd, yeah.
So it's like, okay, if that's a real thing, then he should have a finance that says this is this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but I feel like, the universe, so we try to create some balance, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get the book done this week. The book will be done. And then also starting June, we're gonna be living out, together the things in the book so that everybody will be able to apply this stuff to themselves, their children, their family, peak of the summertime, when the UVB is out there for everybody. Roll this thing all the way up into the summit in July. And then shout out to Do the Knowledge Radio. We have some shout out to the Melvin Ayers, you know what I'm saying? Like we got something coming up in Maryland that's going to be crazy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Killer Priest and all that. So we got something, we got a lot of stuff we're working on in the books, on the books coming up. So it's we really, really putting the pedal to the metal in terms of application, for the people, and just making this thing as simple as possible, as inexpensive as possible. And a large part of the program to completely change your life does not require any purchase. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of it, whether you get the herbs or whatever, you don't need none of that. You make the changes that these are all at home things that you do. This is most of it's free. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously the supplementation and the herbs is going to change a lot of things a lot faster, biochemically, neurochemically. But this is for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So you can start participating no matter where you at in life, and then start supporting from that way all the way up, whether you want to send $10 to the Cash App, $1,000 or whatever the case may be. We need the support and all of that, but we like to make sure that people feel comfortable and the proof is in the pudding. So we work from that space. And now that we're on Patreon, most of the people that come to Patreon to sign up will already be supporting by becoming one of the by becoming one of the patrons. So as a patron of the movement, you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to tap into the 15 years worth of videos that seem to vanish overnight. I still have them on my hard drives.
That's
And
hard.
then my curriculum that we put together, living biochemical. We got 69-week course that we have put together, so that's going to be there as well. So everything is looking really good right now, in terms of just getting the awareness out. But we still need people to share, like, comment, donate, Cash App, all of the above, and make sure y'all do some of all of the above. Obviously, for Suave, who maintains the house, so I can come over here and talk my shit. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to all the content creators. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. So Patreon.com/Dr. Enqi. And we got the second Soul Craft
It's
book
coming.
coming up. That's gonna be hard. And he has how he described, what was it? Tweak a couple things without exercise is what
Amazing. Yo, it's
said.
amazing. And
Radar.
we doing it in the framework of the 40-day fast leading up to the summit, so that everybody can experience it for themselves. We want people to experience this shit for themselves. Like it's, forget about talking about it. Like, just start doing some of this shit, and we're gonna do it with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we want everybody to experience these benefits, because nothing can change your mind. Nothing can move you away from truth once you experience it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what life is about. It's experience. Nothing creates wisdom like experience. Experience is the best teacher in life. So we want to be able to share this experience over the course of 40 days or so, rolling up into the summit, and then extend it worldwide and see what we can do. Really make an impact out here. Kick some asses.
That's hard. And when is the summit again? June.
The summit is in July 10th
Right.
weekend. We're going to be at the Hudson Valley Theater in New York. But the 40-day fast is going to start in June. As soon as June kick in, we're going to start it up. And I've been plotting and scheming with my partner who started it up with me, Diallo Morgan. And I often talk about me and how it started with me and how he was harassing me, but I don't really talk about him much. You know what I'm saying? But I'll let him tell his own story. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that, like, he lost over 100 pounds, you know what I'm saying, doing this, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of people that's had a lot of different successes. Anyway, we're going to bring it all out. We got a film that we'll be releasing at the summit, you know what I'm saying, based on these things and our experiences. And, you know what I'm saying? So we kicking ass. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say is thanks to the supporters and, even the non-supporters and the haters that, that keep my name active. I appreciate you guys too, because you guys make it easier for me to find and locate supporters.
Yeah. I'm glad you're making a move. Like I said, man, it's levels to this shit. And when you make yourself so accessible to negativity, it takes a toll. Stagnation, it takes a toll. And even though it has to come from within you, we don't always got it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get enough hugs from our kids, kisses from our women, pats on the head from our fathers or whatever it is. And sometimes we just need to get that, because I know my chat does a lot for me. You know what I'm saying? As far as energy wise, and just seeing people say, "Nice to see you, missed you, love you." Those things are important. It's like writing those words on a cup of water or a cup of rice, right? Other than always exposing yourself to, "I don't believe you, you lying. I don't believe you."
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I feel good about my little handful of supporters that I do have, because, not for nothing, but my people can rest assured that every order they ordered, whether they got it on time or not, you know what I'm saying, or every donation they made or whatever they did, you contributed to something that's actively healing, benefiting the people in a movement that's growing and changing, and you can see progress. You know what I'm saying? Now, you might not have been down, 10, 12, 13 years supporting, but there are some that have been around that long. And guess what? Now we have this apex where the work finally paid off. people can that's something that in the future, when we look back, it's like, where were you at when Enqi was doing this? Because there really hasn't been anything else that's come out of the conscious community worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when this nigga was over here permanently getting rid of metabolic disease forever for everyone, like, were you a part of that, or what were you doing? Oh, wait a minute. You were trying to slow that movement down? You were against that? So you were against the healing of the black folks, but you are pro confusion. So again, niggas ain't even on the right side of history with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the numbers never are. The numbers never are. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I don't care if you got 2,000 people with you, it's 100,000 haters. You know, every one person has 2 haters. You figure it out.
Listen, I'm going to put my babies to bed.
Man, shout out to you, man. Dad, gang, you already know what it is, man. Go put them in. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to the family. I do appreciate your presence. Shout out to Knowledge Born Allah. I do the Knowledge Radio, man, for always keeping this consistent. So we heard a lot of things today, right?
Shout out to the Argument League.
Shout out to the Argument League, as always. The summit in July.
Soul Mine. You know,
yeah, we need to get you on the Gold Mine Tree Tribe too.
Yeah. I gotta get over there. I gotta get over there on Soul Mine. You know, I gotta go everywhere.
Yeah. You already know SVDL in the building. The summit, July, the weekend of the July 10th, and Soulcraft too. Patreon / Dr. Enqi, man. Move if it activated you. You know, if not, stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? You got to see it. If the first step don't get you, maybe the second, third step will. Maybe you need to see a graduating class before you actually say, you know what?
We trying to.
I'll admit.
No, but no. Listen, listen. That's the thing that people don't get. I'm already everywhere. It's just that people can't see the fingerprints. Like, so, for instance, I've never personally met Nipsey Hussle. I've never met Nipsey Hussle's family, right? But my students, my direct students, was the ones in Nipsey Hussle house with Nipsey Hussle family teaching them the food shit.
That's all right.
See what I'm saying? So when people contribute to me, you contribute into that. You don't even know what you contributed to fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? I've never met E.T. the hip hop preacher, but my students teach E.T. the hip hop preacher vegan culture and lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I never met Les Brown, but when Les Brown got sick, he came to my student to deal with his cancer. You know what I'm saying? So the impact, like, I never been on I have been on the Breakfast Club with HaHa Davis, but I never been on the Breakfast Club like me on the Breakfast Club. But my students have been on the Breakfast Club because they was the ones that
HaHa Davis.
Yeah. I was up there with HaHa Davis. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying, what's your relationship? He's one of your students. What's your relationship? Because I noticed him not get fat.
No. HaHa Davis is another one.
I noticed him slim down. I said, hold on.
No. HaHa Davis is another one. Listen, when I went out on the road with HaHa Davis and them, they ain't know nothing about no health, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? These niggas was eating bacon donut sandwiches. I kid you not. I like, that was literally the thing, was we got to stop for these niggas to eat and me to eat, because we can't eat in the same spot.
Bacon donut
but now if you look at HaHa Davis, you like, oh shit, this nigga damn near look like he's some type of trainer all by himself. You know what I'm saying? He done turned all the way into a fitness, you know what I'm saying? But that's me behind the scenes, and that's the people that support me doing real work in the real world. That's not on YouTube. Like, they don't get, YouTube is to communicate about what you do in the real world. So again, even HaHa Davis transformation, that's me right there. You know what I'm saying? Largely impact. Of course, there's other things that in your life make self-motivate you to do certain things, but you still have to have exposures. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at these, you know, the guys healing the Breakfast Club, or if you look in, you know, Chef Aki's book, you know, I'm in Chef Aki's book as one of her teachers. I'm you know, like, I'm all over the place like the godfather of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you support me, that's what you're supporting. That kind of tree continuing to grow and grow and grow. And I gotta kind of, like get used to telling people things like that about myself, because I guess that's important to other people, but shit like that is not important to me. So I never say stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, you don't just come out and say stuff like that. When the conversation gets there, it's important that it comes up.
yeah,
But conversations usually start off, and this is why I'm the greatest person in the world. You know what I'm saying? You try to start the conversation off by relating to people. You know what I'm saying?
I'm good at this shit. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, man, I'm gonna let you go, big dog. Man, I appreciate you, man. Shout out to you, strength to you, man, and hope to see more of you. Hopefully, I'll subscribe to that Patreon. You might get that Patreon.
What I want to do is maybe we need to set up, like, because I keep saying it, but we need to do it like maybe like a twice a month where we just focus on diabetes. Where I come in, you take your like the argument league folks or whoever is on the, and you just build up the questions like maybe throughout the weeks. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll come in and we just go Q&A, like with everybody. Rambo, 2 hours, just Rambo.
We got you back in a couple of weeks for the Q&A.
Yeah. And we just do Rambo Q&A with anybody, any space in terms of dealing with metabolic issue, type 2 diabetes, like, because we got so many people dealing with that. It's like, yeah, we need to go in, and then some people have been exposed to other systems of vegan this or plant-based that or calorie moderation or this, and they've been able to improve their numbers.
Yeah.
But they haven't been able to get over the hump where they can return back to eating sweets again, or they can where their A1C numbers are right, or where they have resensitized their cells to sugar again. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody that's fucking around, like, if you know even just a little bit about how your body works, you can make insulin numbers just disappear. Like, that's nothing. Anybody can. You could just fast for a few hours and your insulin and glucose level. You take a test, your insulin and glucose levels is, you know what I'm saying? But then if we give your ass a pancake, or not even a pancake, if we give you one banana, your blood glucose at 4,000.
True.
Because your ass is thinking that keto is somehow saving you, and keto is not the solution, people. Keto, y'all niggas keto is going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a trick. You know what I'm saying? It's just a play on numbers, and people are able to make some money by just playing with numbers and making people believe that if I can reduce your insulin number, if I can reduce your blood glucose number, then obviously that's proof
you're healthier,
that I know exactly how to help you heal and blah, blah, blah. When that's not real. That's not real healing. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you to drink a whole bunch of water and that'll lower your insulin and glucose. Like, that's not real long lasting. That's not reversing an illness for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want to go back to eating their fruits and being able to have an occasional ice cream and just enjoy themselves without being scared or passing out in public or no crazy stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And we can do that now. We've been able to do that in enough different types of people where, we've been able to synthesize the differences, what's wrong, where the missteps at, and be able to integrate, the dietary changes, the exercise lifestyle kind of stuff with the herbal kind of biochemical stuff, and really see where the missteps are and the misfires in terms of how these things evolve from a small thing to a big thing, and walk it on backwards. You know what I'm saying? So we in a good space with it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we up out of here. We put the Q&A together. Let everybody.
Hardest thing to do is close out a conversation with me and Enqi, man. That's the hardest thing to do in the world, is to wrap it up. We get into so many things.
No, we be wrapping it up like 15 times.
One word has set off a whole necessary conversation. I mean, because we're so behind, right? Which is another conversation. That's how it starts. But shout out to Enqi, man. Thanks for coming through, man. I'm gonna get in tune with you. You know, and we'll get you back on here in a couple weeks. I'm shooting for the beginning of June. We get that Q&A in.
Yeah, so we can stay. That'd be perfect timing with the fast. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
hard.
Perfect timing with the fast, because we want everybody to jump on there. And the fast is going to be a little easier this go round. It's not going to be how I normally do the 40-day fast. I'm gonna like make it super. Like this is just going to be like really participation friendly. Like this is not going to be the 40-day fast from the textbook. You know what I'm saying? Because people that have the book, they know what this is going to be a lot.
It's more friendlier 40-day.
Yeah, this is going to be super, super easy for everybody to participate and get results. Like, wow, if I just did these things and my body changes like this, what if I did this, this, and this? And then you can start to see how, you would benefit from more time and being a little bit more serious with it. And then, even taking a step forward to the preventative state. Because a lot of people feel like if they don't have quote unquote diabetes right now or diabetic symptoms, they don't have any issues with excess glucose. And that's where people go wrong. They don't realize that if you got, aches and pains in your joints, like your knees, your shoulders, your elbows, that's from excess sugar. You know what I'm saying? That's not from old age. That's from excess sugar. The sugars are binding with the collagens. If you're having, issues where, you think that you're having nerve issues, those nerve issues, all this sciatic shit and all this thing, your foot falling asleep and all that, that has to do with the sugars, binding to the nerves and causing nerve damage and, circulatory issues, that doesn't mean you need to get, have a bowel movement. It means that you probably have some high circulating sugar levels and you don't really pay attention to the other pigments that are affected besides hemoglobin, because A1C just measures hemoglobin, but sugar affects all of the pigments throughout the body the same way it affects the hemoglobin. So the same way it crystallizes the hemoglobin, it's going to crystallize the myoglobin inside the muscles, right? The melanopsin, inside the blood vessels, the pigments in the eye where you're going blind, and in the ear where you're going deaf, and the brain and all these other areas. So, and then you have larger issues like Alzheimer's, now being identified as type 3 diabetes. Like that's where that is now. So Alzheimer's is not even a separate thing anymore. It's seen as an extension of excess glucose, how that affects the brain, right? And the problem with that is it has a 40-50 year incubation period. So where people think you get Alzheimer's and dementia in 50 or 60, that's not true. You get Alzheimer's and dementia in your 20s. It doesn't show up until you get into your 50s and 60s. You know what I'm saying? But it starts to set in your 20s. And you don't realize it until you get into your 50s and 60s, because it just takes that long for the symptoms to, pile up and get so bad that, it's debilitating. But you started building that up 30, 40 years prior to that space. So preventative is mandatory. Preventative is not optional. You can't look at what it is that we're presenting and what we're doing and what we're these changes that we're applying as something that you may not need if you're not in a diabetic state. If you live in this universe, chances are you got some excess glucose shit going on with you. You know what I'm saying? And we need to nip that in the bud and figure out where that came from early. Nobody's exempt. You know what I'm saying?
And at this point, it's really no excuse for it.
Yeah, and you see that with athletes. I mean, nobody's in better shape than athletes. Athletes are not only working out an hour, 2 hours every day, but their actual 9 to 5 is working out. So they're
working out like.
So you don't get in better shape than that. And a lot of these athletes, soon as they retire, type 2 diabetes. You know what I'm saying? And then that leads to the heart, this, that, and the other. Kevin Samuels, the heart. You see what I'm saying? And people not realizing, yeah, but it's a heart attack, ain't yeah, but the number one cause of heart attack, you folks don't understand, is excess blood sugar. So you got to realize people don't die from type 2 diabetes. They die from complications of type 2 diabetes. And if there's other things going on, sometimes it's not even explored whether there was a relationship between sugar or not. You know what I'm saying? So you may just see Like somebody said, oh, well, he was getting high, he was doing the coke and this and that and the other. But you don't realize those receptors, even for drugs, are a part of that same melanin system.
Yeah, melanin.
So you're still looking at, catecholamines, dopamine, melanin stimulating hormone, melanin concentrating hormone. This is all a part of that access. So anything that subverts that access, and this is why, even your melanocytes in the skin, they all have opioid receptors. So, this is how sugar attacks the body. Sugar attacks the body through those same systems. Cocaine, heroin, sugar is more addictive than coke. You know what I'm saying? And it's more dangerous. It increases your mortality rate. Like,
and it's legal, and it's encouraged, and it's put in almost everything sold to you.
And it's a part of the hidden history of slavery that people just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Haitian, and I didn't even understand all this time that the
Slavery, sugar, man.
I didn't know that the Haitian Revolution was about sugar.
Slavery, sugar. Yeah.
I heard so many conversations about the Haitian Revolution and never knew that the first thing that the Haitian
about that sugar cane. Yeah, that sugar cane was bigger than the tobacco. It was sugar cane.
That's right. That's what kick-started the Haitian Revolution. They was tired of working in the sugar field, because in the sugar field you died on average in 7 years. So it was like, nah, we're not going to keep working in the sugar field. And they burned the sugar field. And the largest sugar field in the world was Haiti. And so the Haitians burnt that sugar field, and that's what kickstarted that. And so from there, they moved the plantation, the sugar plantation, to Cuba. And so this is where Cuba comes into world history. And then from there, it goes to Louisiana, which, New Orleans. And so it's so much shit attached to this sugar shit that we just, what I'm saying? It's so we'll just, like I said, we'll have our convos, and people can hit me with, whatever types of questions relative, whether it's history, economics, or actual health, or shit we can apply to change our health now, anything associated with the topic, because all of the things are relevant to our, current predicament, whether you white, black, yellow, red, brown, what I'm saying? This is a global problem. You know what I'm saying? Even the current pandemic, the number one risk factor for mortality is metabolic disease. The most prevalent metabolic disease, obviously, is type 2 diabetes. So again, you know what I'm saying? And, I want to encourage everybody to incorporate a little vitamin K into their diet. You know what I'm saying? I can't even explain it. I can't even explain why.
Coumadin?
No, vitamin K. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying it's like coumadin. It's like a blood.
No, it's a thicker. It's a thickener. It actually thickens the blood. But
yeah, that's what I was saying. Blood thinner. Okay, yeah.
Well, those are like thinners. You know what I'm saying? The coumadins and the aspirin every day. Even your garlic is a thinner.
Because one thing that I've noticed is the people who are on certain medicines are told to stay away from greens.
Yeah.
People, it's like certain medicines.
And greens got that vitamin K up in there. A lot of people think only magnesium with greens, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the mineral, but the vitamin most associated with
a lot of the foods they tell you that fight certain diseases, the medicine for those diseases, tell you to stay away from them foods.
And man, you got to put your intuition at that space. See, that's another look. People don't realize, before I got banned from Facebook, before I got banned from YouTube, I got banned from churches. Because as an ordained minister, I didn't just call myself minister. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got ordained. As an ordained minister, I used to do a lot of churches, go to, speak in a lot of churches. And every church I went to, it just, they didn't want me to come back. Because I go right in there and I'd be like, yo, yeah, I got fried chicken in the back.
We wrong.
Yeah, I got mac and cheese in the back. I'm just saying.
It's a setup.
If anybody show me in the Bible where you're supposed to be eating mac and cheese and fried chicken, just if you could just show me that part, we Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Because I can show you part after part after part in that book where it says, if you defile the body, which is the temple of God,
the body is the temple.
I'm like, so how is it that you niggas seem to skip all these pages? You skipped the first chapter where it told you what to eat. Then you skipped all the chapters in the middle where it told you what happens if you don't follow the program. Then you niggas seem to have skipped Revelations where it says, if all else should fail. Like, if you didn't catch nothing else. The herbs are for the healing of the nation. So if you didn't get the diet in the first chapter, if you didn't get the warnings in the middle of the damn book, and you're here, let's go back to the herbs. And the thing is, there were other things that were intimated in that space, because at that time herbs meant a little bit more than just what it does now. It was about the whole practice of agriculture and cultivation, which is why vegetables and fruits with seeds intact and all that kind of stuff was specified. And sweat of your brow, and so that's kind of how you got a good workout, by working in the field. So that was also implied in that space. When you went back to the natural foods, you went back to the way of cultivating those natural foods, which gave you a good workout
lifestyle.
So yeah, got you out in the sun. You know what I'm saying? So vitamin D level.
And machinery, man, got his handicapped and not relying on our physical, our organic machine.
Yeah.
Just sit in his seat, press these buttons, and you could work the field. Like, yeah, man, it's a whole lifestyle that comes with being a farmer where it's like impossible to get fat. You know what I'm saying?
Suave, I'm out of here. Peace.
Love, man. It's true to you, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's the Argument League. I'll be back. Let me just wrap this one up so it'll be an official show, man. Shout out to Enqi, man. Patreon /Enqi. The summit, the weekend of June, July 10th, and
we start
the second edition of
June. Yep.
Right. We out here.
The Big Willie shit giving away. We're gonna give away like 500 pounds of Conjures Crispus or some cool crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned for that.
That's hard. I'm in there. Shout out to Enqi, man. Thank y'all for coming through and fucking with the chat, man. And Liam in the building, Incognito, Eccentric, Element AU, Tanjan, you already know. Gold Man, my brother Gold Man in the building. Tequila F, definitely represented. Shout out to you. And Free Spirit was in the building. And I know we got CS in the building. We had MJ in the building. We had Shabo in the building. We had Solar in the building. We had Leonard the Yuta in the building. We had Little's Revenge. A lot of these I can think of off name. That's cool. Frank One came through. You know what I'm saying? That's always cool. Nobody B, you already know, representing. Nequa B. The sister Holly, the dark horse, man, of SVDL. Congratulations again on you. I thought the debate was tonight. I don't know if they changed it, but now it says the 16th. So, yeah, no debate. I thought it was. Knowledge Born Allah was in the building, man. Shout out to you. And so, yeah, I might come back, talk some more shit about the YSL, YFN beef, Afro Hispanics and Afro Portuguese. Anything not to be black, shout out to you. And the brother Heaven Sent came through. So yeah, man, thank y'all. Scar Beauty. Shout out to Scar Beauty, man. I always appreciate your presence. It's just a certain type of wicked in the building. Just a certain type of, energy to it. I'm like, all right, shout out to Scar Beauty, man. And did I hit everything? Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, shout out to y'all, man. Thank y'all for coming through, man. If I miss you, I apologize. I don't see you right now. Oh, Word Sport. Yo from the Word Sport Battlegrounds came through. Shout out to y'all, man. It's the boy Swab Boss, man. It's been another one.